Thanks for joining us today. We're happy to have you here. Do you want to just kind of start off by giving a brief overview of who you are?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Laura Wagner. I am 41 years old. I have born and raised in Wisconsin. I'm a mom to two beautiful girls. I have a 14-year-old and a 7-year-old. And just a little over a year ago, I was diagnosed with DCS, which is, they call it stage 0 breast cancer, but it was something that was never in my life, I guess, thought I would ever hear. Turned 40, went in for kind of a routine check, and went through these steps and ultimately heard the words, "You have cancer." And that's kind of started my journey.
What was it like to first hear those words?
A million emotions. Scared, overwhelmed, don't know what to think. You ultimately go to, I think, the worst case scenario. Your head just spins. You sit there and you think, what next? What am I going to do? Who do you turn to? How am I going to get through all of this? And ultimately, it's a day-by-day, step-by-step process. And I mean, I couldn't have done it without the biggest support system of my life, and that's my family and my friends. So,
what else was encouraging you in that time? Did you have other stories that you listened to and that was helping you get through it, or what was kind of, your encouragement?
I joined a Facebook support group. That was helpful, just being able to kind of see what stories other people had, what journeys they had. Everybody's journey is different. Nobody's is exactly the same. But just being able to learn and see what people are going through, and being able to then do additional research on my own, asking a million questions. Thankfully I have my sister who's a nurse, my aunt who's a nurse, my uncle who's a nurse, being able to ask them questions. I have friends who unfortunately have had, their relatives go through this situation. They were able to lend some guidance in this scenario, and just relying on different resources and kind of piecing it all together. But there's so many different things, and knowing that I have these girls that ultimately this is what I'm striving for, and I'm coming out on top, and I want to be stronger in the end. So
that's so encouraging.
It is. It's the most encouraging piece, and I've got a lot of life to live yet.
You
do. I just want to do what I can. So there was a lot of unknowns, but it was a day-by-day, step-by-step.
And are you currently doing treatment as well right now?
I'm not. I completed my treatment last July.
Okay.
So I did, I had my surgery April or May of last year. I had partial mastectomy with reconstruction, reduction, and then that was a recovery of 6 weeks. And then following that, I did 16 rounds of radiation.
Wow.
And you just don't even know what is going to happen when you're doing radiation. And I did that while I was working full-time.
Wow.
And it's a challenge. I mean, it takes a lot out of you. It's the radiation fatigue is something you just don't even understand. And then following that, now I'm on 5 years of the medication is called tamoxifen, and it's used to, or they say that it reduces the risk of the breast cancer returning.
Okay.
So I go every 6 months for a recheck, and hopefully if my scans continue to come back clear, I'll be able to go every year. And then once I hit that 5-year mark, I can go back to regular mammograms, and you know, hopefully my scans continue to stay clear,
right.
but you know, it's always in the back of my mind. You just never quite know. Every ache and pain and you know, the little unknowns of it's like, well, what is that? Is it something? So it's always a question.
Yeah, I'm sure it's hard to, you know, have any of those symptoms and not think.
Not wonder.
Yeah, that's hard. And how are you feeling today?
You know, each day is different. Some days I feel good, some days I don't feel 100%, but I try to make the best of it. You know, I'm working full time. I'm a trade show coordinator, so I travel for my company, and I love what I do, and it's physical activity, so I try to grin and bear it some days. You know, some days my muscles and my joints are sore, but for the most part, I feel pretty good.
Oh, that's great.
So
yeah, that's really encouraging that you've been able to return to work and just keep on going. But yeah. And, you know, is there anything that you would want other people to know about breast cancer, having gone through this journey?
You know, I think the one thing is, from my story, and what really, the biggest thing was, I had a group of friends that were kind of dragging their feet on going to get their mammograms, and they were like, well, I don't, you know, maybe I don't need to go and get that, or maybe I'll just wait. Right after my diagnosis, I had probably a handful of friends that went and scheduled their mammogram, and if I can just throw my public service announcement out, and it's just go and do it. It's, you know what, it's scary the first time, it's uncomfortable, but if they're going to find something, you would rather know in the early stages so that it can be taken care of and something can be done, because I was told if I would have waited, it would have been a much different scenario.
Yeah.
And it just, it's just part of, it's part of what we need to do to keep ourselves healthy. And I just urge everybody to do it for themselves and to do it for their families. You know.
Yeah, I know that's powerful that you were able to encourage your friends to do that. And I know, you know, by sharing your story today, I hope that it encourages more people.
I really do.
To do that.
I mean,
yeah, it's important.
That's the biggest thing. And, you know, if you are part of this club that unfortunately nobody wants to be part of, you know, a couple of my girlfriends got me a bracelet and it says "Nobody fights alone." And I mean, it's really true that the group of women that are part of the, you know, Susan G. Komen or ABCD or any of those groups, I mean, they rally together, and it's just, it's amazing to see.
Yeah, I know I've seen, you know, small parts of that, and it is so powerful, and it's incredible the impact that they are making. So, yeah. Well, I really appreciate you sharing your story today, and I know it's difficult to do that, but I hope that it encourages more people, and like you said, we know how important the research is, and also just, you know, being able to take that step to get a mammogram and prioritize your health in that way. So
yes, no, I appreciate you guys having me, and yes, you know, take the step and just get the scan.
yep.